So these are the last 4 problems on your test review for Unit 9. It says to determine the volume of each prism and then round to the nearest tenth if necessary. Right? So because this is a rectangular prism, I'm going to use the formula V equals, or volume equals length times width times height. Right, and so then I'm going to just multiply the length, the width, and the height times each other. It doesn't really matter which one I call the length, the width, and the height. So I'm just going to multiply all 3 of these numbers together. Sorry, I'm having to hold my phone, so doing the best I can. 8 times, let's see, 9.4 times 10.7. Okay, so I'm going to do the first two. 8, let's see, 9.4 times 8 would be 8 times 4 is 32, carrier 3, 9 times 8 is 72, plus 3 is 75. I have 1 decimal here, so I'm going to put 1 decimal here. And I still need to multiply that by the 10.7. So 7 times 2 is going to be 14, carrier 1, 7 times 5 is 35, plus 1 is 36, carrier 3. 7 times 7 is 49, plus 3 is 52. Start the second row with a 0, and then 0 times 2 is 0, 0 times 5 is 0, 0 times 7 is 0. Start the third row with 2 zeros, and then 1 times 2 will be 2, 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 7 is 7. When I add these up, I'm going to get 4, 6, 4, 10, carrier 1, and 8. Alright, and since there are 1, 2 decimal places here, I'm going to have 1, 2 decimal places here. So 804.64 is the volume. And that would be in cubic feet, so not just feet, but cubic feet. That's what the little 3 stands for. And then because the directions tell me to round to the nearest tenth, up at the top, round to the nearest tenth, I'm going to go ahead and round. The 6 is in the tenths place, so I'm going to look at the 4. Since this 4 is not 5 or greater, then this does not change. So the volume is 804.6 cubic feet. Okay. Alright, and then I have a second problem, number 25. Same formula, length times width times height. This time I'm going to use 9 times 4 times 6. And again, I can multiply in any order I want to. 9 times 4 is 36, and then if I multiply that times 6, 6 times 6 is 36, carrier 3, 6 times 3 is 18, plus 3 is 21. So my volume is 216, and this time it's in yards, so that would be cubic yards. And there's no need to round because this is a whole number. So my final answer is 216 cubic yards. Alright, and 26, it says a rectangular prism has a volume of 1,134 cubic meters. It has a length of 18 meters and a width of 7 meters. What is the height of the prism? Alright, so the important words to notice here are rectangular prism and volume. Alright, so because it's a rectangular prism, then the volume formula, I'm allowed to use a length times width times height. And I'm going to fill in the numbers into the formula. So it says the volume is 1,134, so that's going to replace V. The length is 18, so that's going to replace L. The width is 7, so that's going to replace W. And the height is what I'm looking for, so it's going to stay in H. Alright, so on this side I can go ahead and multiply 18 times 7. I need to start with that. 7 times 8 is 56, carrier 5. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 5 is 12. Alright, so now I have 1,134 equal to 126H. Alright. And then since I can't multiply times h, I'm going to do the opposite and solve this equation. So cut it in half and then divide by 126. Alright, so top in, bottom out, if I divide 126 into 1,134. Alright, so those are pretty big numbers. If I'm really just kind of trying to guess how many are in, how many 126s go into 1,134. I might do something like, in my head, round 126 to 120, and I know 120 times 10 is 1,200. That's a little more than I want, so I might try 9. See if that works. Really, you're just kind of guessing, so pick a number and guess. 9 times 6 is 54, carry your 5. 9 times 2 is 18, plus 5 is 23. 9 times 2 is 9, plus 2 is 11. So that actually ends up being what I need to be. So my final answer, h is going to be 9, and this is going to be in meters. Because it's the height and not the volume, it's just regular meters. So my final answer is 9 meters. Okay, and then the last problem, a rectangular prism has a length of 2 3/4 inches, a width of 4 4/5 inches, and a height of 5 inches. What is the volume of the prism in cubic inches? So again, I have a rectangular prism. I'm looking for volume, so because it's rectangular, I can use length times width times height. The length is 2 3/4. The width is 4 4/5, and the height is 5. Alright, so I want to multiply those because I'm looking for volume. But I might not want to work with the fractions. So if I don't want to work with the fractions, I'm going to go ahead and change my fractions into decimals. And I do that using Taibou. So I'm going to take the 3/4 and do top and bottom out. So the 3 goes in, 4 goes out. 4 won't go into 3, add a decimal, bring it up, add a 0. 4 will go into 37 times. When I subtract 28, I get 2, bring down the 0, 4 will go into 25 times. Alright, so what I've done is I've changed 3/4 to 0.75. So over here, I'm going to replace the 3/4 with 0.75. Now the whole number, the 2 stays, but the 3/4 has been changed to a decimal. Alright, so then I also have a 4/5 right here, so I'm going to go ahead and change that also into a decimal. So top goes in, that would be the 4. 5 goes out. I cannot divide 5 into 4, so add a decimal, add a 0. Sorry. 5 will go into 40 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. So when I subtract, that's as much as I need to do. So this became 0.8. So over here, I'm going to change the 4/5 to 4.8. And then I still have the 5. I don't need to change that because that's already a whole number. Alright, so the last thing I need to do is go ahead and multiply all these numbers together. So if I have 2.75 times 4.8. I don't need to line these up because I am multiplying. So 8 times 5 is 40, carry your 4. 8 times 7 is 56, plus 4 is 60. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 6 is 22. When I start the second row, I start with a 0. 5 times 4 is 20, carry your 2. 4 times 7 is 28, plus 2 is 30. And then 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. Alright, so add these up, you get 0, 0, 2, 3, 1. I have 1, 2, 3 decimal places. I'm going to move my decimal over 3 places. Alright, and this is 13.200. I don't really need these last 2 zeros, so that'll make my multiplication a little easier if I just rewrite it without the zeros. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. 13.2, and then I need to multiply that times 5. Okay, so I did these 2, now I'm going to do times 5. 5 times 2 is 10. I carry my 1. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16. Carry your 1. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. I have 1 decimal place here, so there's going to be 1 here. So my final answer for volume is 66. I can drop the 0.0, I can keep it. Either way is correct. And then this is in inches. And it is cubic inches because I am solving for the volume. Alright, that should end your test review for chapter 9. Good luck!